I'm reading in my car, so there's a bit of a steering wheel in the way. I'm reading Most Ardently, and so far I did not put a bookmark in here. It's really good. They've changed a few things so far, especially about Wickham. He's not a coward, and he actually goes to Bingley's ball, the ball at Meryton. And now he's talking to Ollie about like Darcy, and it's like in a different setting. It's very interesting, and obviously she's still trying to rear in he and Darcy's relationship. And he talked to Elizabeth. I'm saying Elizabeth. That's totally the dead name. This is trans Elizabeth Bennet. But like to differentiate the two is Ollie was being Elizabeth at the ball, and he talked to her and was like, "Oh, you never know. Like you could marry someone here." And Elizabeth was like, "Nah, I haven't met anyone. I haven't met anyone that I would want to marry." Wickham was all like, "Oh, maybe you just haven't realized it yet." And he was like, No, I don't think there's anyone here. And yeah, so, but I don't know. I'm like maybe halfway, so we'll see. I have my Pride and Prejudice bookmark. It feels blasphemous to use it but it's not really. Went to Hy-Vee and acquired the goods. I got 2 new flavors, so this may or may not ruin my entire morning later. I got lemon lime twister. I hope it tastes like Sprite. And then I got pomegranate acai refresher. But I just really have been loving pomegranate. So, and then I went to go get waffles because I wanted waffles. So I got my gluten-free waffles because I had to eat cereal this morning and I just wasn't feeling it. I mean, I was like hungry like an hour later, so. You know, flowers have been bred out, and the actual real flowers from like before we continued to breed and domesticate them, like would knock you out with how much they smell. Like good, like, I don't know, I'm autistic. But it's not that bad, actually. River stopped here. Alright, so I just wanted to talk about the book that I just finished, Most Ardently. This is by Gabe, Novoa, and it's part of the Remix Classic series. If you haven't heard this series, basically it's just a bunch of classics that get a kind of modern twist on them in some way that changes like a very big part of them. Hey, Bobby. So like the first one I read was Self-Made Boys by Anne-Marie McLemore, and one turns Nick and Gatsby, I believe, both they were trans, and also has like a lot of race talk and stuff like that. And then like Daisy was also a lesbian. There was like a whole thing. They added in like a character. Well, was she a part of the original series? I don't remember, but I thought it was really good. Like a really good take on the classic, especially because Nick and Gatsby's relationship there was something pretty gay about them in the original classic, and then they make them gay actually in this one, and just something that was missing. But I feel like the thing about Pride and Prejudice I'm trying to put the cat is that I feel like it's not really lacking much. Like I feel like the classic itself stands pretty well by itself. But I feel like this one adds like a new perspective that I think makes all of the things happen. Like it's still the same story at heart, like, but there's so many things that happen that it's like, wow, that's actually interesting, and adds like a whole new meaning to like this person, or a whole new like idea to this plot. Bobby, please. He got no brain. He just has like a few brain cells. That's okay. But yeah, anyways, so in this one, Elizabeth Bennet is trans and is actually a man named Oliver. He kind of has to live in this like very women, like within like what's it called, like the like expectations of a woman. Like everyone expects him to be a woman, and so he's struggling wearing like dresses and stays and stuff, and would rather wear trousers. It's how do I explain this? I don't know, like it adds something new to like the story, which makes it interesting to read again. There's still a lot of plot points that happen, like Jane still goes to visit their aunt and uncle, Ollie still goes with their aunt and uncle and sees Pemberley. Like there's like a lot of things that still happen, like they still meet Wickham, but like Elizabeth, I'm gonna keep mixing up the names because that's who they're supposed to be. Ollie like is sus of Wickham at first, so it's like different, and then like Wickham, like the big thing he does at the end of the book is completely different because there's a completely different story going on. Mr. Collins is almost worse, and so is Wickham. Wickham is worse in this book, I feel like there's just, he's a bit worse. Darcy has like more of a modern take on his personality. I feel like a lot of this book is kind of a modern take, so like the dialogue is pretty modern, and like some of the things that they say and think is pretty modern, but like it still has that like aesthetic of its original time period. Oh, I just now saw their acknowledgement. I didn't see this page before, but it says, to my trans siblings, we deserve romances that will sweep us off our feet too. This is why this book is for you. That's so cute. But yeah, this came out in 2024, so obviously the dialogue, unless they like extensively studied like 1800s lingo, it's not gonna be, you know, true to the time period. It's gonna be modern dialogue. It's just going to be, but like I feel like it didn't throw me out as much as it did some of my points. There was still a few things, which is why this is a 4.5 out of 5 star. Like I loved this book, but there was just a few things that was kind of like meh, that's kind of meh, you know. And also in the back of the book, the author kind of wrote a historical note and was like, yeah, so like on the note of how much of this would have happened, they're kind of like, some of this wouldn't really have happened. Honestly, if I tell you too much, it will spoil the book a little bit, but like they had the inclusion of molly houses, which were like a real thing back then. I just really appreciated the historical note because like, I don't know, of course if you're gonna take something and write about it and it's gonna be a historical book like this, it's really nice to know that you acknowledge that like some of this probably couldn't have happened, like some of this realistically would not have happened, or like it'd be really hard to make that work, or like it would have been like a struggle to like make that happen. It probably would have been easy as this book made it. This book is only just under 300 pages, so like some of it was, you know, pretty quick, but like I really just appreciated that. I just kind of appreciate that a lot actually. But yeah, this book was so good. It has like the best parts about Pride and Prejudice, which is like the banter. Like their banter is so good, the kind of way they do. There's not as much of like Darcy pining, I feel like, as in Pride and Prejudice, so like, and there's not as much hate from the Elizabeth Ollie point of view, because they don't really like, they kind of understand why Darcy is like the way he is, because like he doesn't like women, that's why he doesn't want to get married. Like it's a whole different thing, so like all of the dynamics are like slightly different. So major like content warnings, misogyny is so big in this book, and then like again there's like references to suicide in terms of being like trans and stuff, transphobia, homophobia. Overall, like a really good book. This series so far has been so cool, and I'm definitely gonna have to like look at this author and see if they have any other books, because like gorgeous. Highly recommend, and it gets to be added to my physical TBR pile that I've read. I have finished volume 5. It was really random, which I feel like all of the like little kind of parts sometimes feel very random. Quiet Vision, Anya getting into shit she shouldn't get into, stuff like that. Yor feeling like she's a bad wife, like it's always, but her brother was in this one for like some of it. He like tutored Anya and like randomly showed up in like one scene. So I don't know how I feel about him. I feel like his relationship with Yor is really weird, but like all of the relationships in this book are unhealthy anyways. It's a manga. The way he like almost worships her is just so weird to me. Like, I love my brother, like don't get me wrong, I love my brother, but I want my brother to be happy with someone else, and I'm not like, oh my god, you're stealing him from me. Like, I'm like, thank God, take him. I don't know, like, I get like growing up they only have each other, but like the way he like thinks about her, like at the end of the book there's like literally a page right before the author's note, and it has like from the book, like where he just had like a page of Tatsuya his sister, and it's just like, I wish my sister and I could be together forever. I've read every book you about me at least 2,000 times. I've never seen a more beautiful woman than you and me anywhere in the whole world. And I don't know if it's just lost in translation, like the like amazingness of their relationship, or if it's just weird in every language. I don't know. It is May 30th and we are at 15 books so far this year. My goal again is 70, and I've read 4 books off of my physical TBR for the summer, which means that I have like 19 more to go on this list. I was up till 12:30 last night reading Spider-Man fanfiction and crying my eyes out because one of the fanfiction, this fic had not been updated in God knows how long, and it's been in my bookmarks for God knows how long, and they updated yesterday, or I don't know if it was yesterday, but I saw it yesterday because I checked, and the update did not help because then I reread the whole thing because I couldn't really remember like what fic this was, and I was crying my eyes out, and I just didn't stop until I finished that fic, and I was crying my eyes out at like 12:30 at night last night. 2023. My goal was 50 and I read 62, which is why my goal was 70 this year, because I felt like that would be attainable because it pushed me to read 8 more, and so far it's pushing me in a way I wasn't expecting. I didn't expect to read such a book slump. Yeah, because I've only read 15 books, and I think I read, like I started this year really good, reading 4. Not bad, considering I would have had to read, when I say 6 every month, like that's not horrible, right? But then I only read 1 single book in February, 2 in March, 2 in April, and I've actually read 6 this month, but I'm already behind. Last day of June, last day of May, and I just read Silent Voice Volume 1. Why does it end like that? Talking about this book is an interesting thing, I feel like, because the interesting thing about this first volume, it is it's all backstory, which is weird. It's weird, right? Prop you up on some books because I have plenty of them. And so basically the premise of the book is that you have, I'm not sure how to say these, I feel like that's me in every situation, but I genuinely do not know how to say these. I didn't do any research before pressing record. So we have Shoya and Shoko. So I hope you don't get confused by that, because I sometimes got confused by that. But it's in Shoya's like point of view, like the story kind of follows him specifically, and basically Shoya, the boy, is a bully, and he is bullying Shoko for being deaf, and so he is bullying her, and like through the book it's like giving you backstory, because basically the premise, especially on the back of the book, it says 6 years later the two of them meet again after he bullies her out of his school. So this entire volume is him bullying her out of the school, all of that, and then like where he meets her again, and it's basically all backstory. Like this entire volume is all backstory, and now I'm kind of like, damn, like I wish I knew that, because I would have bought the second volume, because like now you're sitting here like, well, how do I know I'm gonna like the story if this entire thing is basically a prologue? This is the prelude, the introduction. This is like literally not the plot. This just isn't the plot. This is just the prequel. Like, how many synonyms can I find for this? So I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'm gonna give the second volume a try, see if I like where it's going, because this book, the main character, Shoyo, is a dick. We don't like him. He's mean. His friends are mean. Every single character in this book sucks. Besides Shoko. Everyone sucks. I've heard the movie is really good, so might have to make my dad watch that with me at some point this summer. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get that second volume. Well, that's it for this month. I might still read things this week, but this is my last book of the month, probably, unless I read something else, but I'm not gonna probably finish it. Oh, here comes Junie. Why is her hair sticking out like that, girlfriend? So yeah, I can do that. I'll add a sticker here, and then I also did my May wrap up, and then I had a feeling I was going to read this, so I'll add that here. That'll be 7 books this month, which again is the most. I haven't done the line down here because I wasn't sure how these were going to work, but I'll do that once I take this off. But I started my June because tomorrow is literally June, so I have this for my pages. It's kind of cute, and then I decided to do pink this month because I really wanted to do pink. I don't know. And then I am using these like strawberry stickers that I have. It was 192. 192. I think the best part of completing a book is going through and like adding everything into your stuff. Like, that's so fun for me. These are the sticker sheets I have. I chose a Kuromi. The grandma gave me her carry-on suitcase, which is move hopefully. Again, works come to worse. I'm just stashing shit in my cousin's suitcase, but knowing I'll be able to do that. So, I'm willing to pack the majority of my things today, and I can do that because I wear work clothes. I wear scrubs to work, so I don't need normal people's clothes, so I can pack all of my things today. I don't have to worry about anything. So
means you're not a scaredy cat. You're not a scaredy cat. No, you're not. You're so brave. You're so brave.
I am not driving. I'm stationary. Anyways, started the magic fish today, and this is so cute so far. It's kind of sad. I'm like halfway, maybe a little over halfway through, and it's kind of sad right now. But like so far, the one fairy tale I went through, I'm not sure what it's supposed to be, like an Ariel spin-off kind of deal, because that's kind of what it felt like, but like also not really. The art so far is like gorgeous, like the detail that they put in, like there's like these dresses, the detail they put into these. Here's like the book in the back. So cute. I'm at the park. I ate my lunch at the park. There's some like random lady next to me, and there's a lot of other people doing the exact same thing, and we're all just like sitting in the parking lot of a park eating lunch. A win for the gays. Let's go. I finished the magic fish today, and I just wanted to talk about it for a second because, like, I don't know, it was just really good. I think a lot of people don't give graphic novels enough credit, and it's because graphic novels, typically, if they're adult graphic novels, I feel like at that point they're just comic books. And so, like, I don't know, but Magic Fish, when you find out the title and why it's called that, so good. Like, it was so good. So basically, my original description I was giving of it was like, young boy Tien, he is trying to find the word for like gay and stuff, and but from what I got from the description, I guess I thought that he was trying to describe it through fairy tales, but he and his mom themselves are connecting through fairy tales, and so they're like communicating through these fairy tales. And I love when books incorporate like your cultural fairy tales, because I feel like everyone kind of has their own stories that they tell, and different cultures have different versions of fairy tales. And so like this one kind of merges a lot of like Chinese, Vietnamese, there was another one kind of like ones that I wouldn't have heard. They're kind of like, they have like almost the same story, but they're completely different. And so they have like their version of Cinderella, which is like, oh, I already forgot their name. But then the author put their own spin on it, and it's just, and then there was their version of The Little Mermaid, and then the first story, I think, I don't remember what it was supposed to be, but when I first was reading it, I thought maybe that one was like Little Mermaid kind of esque, but it wasn't, or at least I don't think it was supposed to be. No, I don't think it was supposed to be. I will say the way that this book handles queerness is, this book is set in the 1990s, so 30 years ago. So the way that they handled queerness was completely different, especially like the teachers in Tien's life. There's like a part that if you have religious trauma, you might kind of be like, ooh, that's ow, ew. But it's just the way that this story tells about, like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I don't know how to put my thoughts into words. Like, because that's just the way I felt about this book. And just, it's like perfect, I think, for kids. It's like the things I wish I grew up with. Like, every time I read a book that I'm like, oh, I just wish I grew up with something like this, because this, the way that it relates kind of immigration, and how families who immigrate from their country, especially coming to America, how they feel disconnected from like their family and their culture and their home, from their language, the kind of like way that they feel, and the way that they relate this through fairy tales. Like, the author, it's amazing, and this was their debut graphic novel, like, that they did all by themselves. And it's so good. Like, you can tell, like, that there was so much thought into it. Like, even going through the back where they have, like, their example sketches, and they kind of, like, talk out the fairy tales and the story, and they, like, really just talk about it all. Like, you can tell they put so much thought into it and so much heart into it, and, like, it just was really good, and just kind of another story about other people's experiences that, like, I just love to hear, I love to see it, and I'm here for it. So I'm so glad that I stumbled across this book looking for queer graphic novels for Pride Month, to make my friends read with me, because this book was so good. It was so good. I gave it 5 stars. Like, it was an immediate 5 stars for me. Just like the story and the pictures, like, they all just went together, and like everything, it's just like, And the way that they integrated the fairy tales, they had like 2 separate colors for the fairy. So like real life was like red, and then fairy tale was like purpley. And like the way they would integrate and smoothly move it like through the story, it was so good. What's that one, like the Princess Bride movie? Think about the Princess Bride movie and how like they integrated like the grandpa telling his grandson about like the way he's reading it. Think of that, because that's what they do, but they just do it so beautiful. I feel like I'm gushing. I love when I read a good book and I just kind of gush about it, because like it was just good. I'm so glad I read it. I didn't have my car on because I wanted to be quiet, but now the air is coming through, I'm like, oh my god, I'm sweating. Thank you, bye.